What was that touchdown celebration, by the way?
That was like a 40-year-old dad trying to do the grid. I will say
he brought that up on
Yeah,
Twitter
that was
too. I'm like,
bad.
okay.
he had the best
He
response
caught
to
himself
that,
on
which
that one.
was,
He caught himself on that one. I'm like, good. I'm like, good. Just don't do that again.
But let's go ahead and get into our, predictions and preview of the Dolphins versus Bills. So Tua threw 6 touchdowns. Josh Allen threw 4. And it looked easy. I gave the analogy last night on Vic's show. Josh Allen throws a football like we throw cue balls down a hallway. It just doesn't look like it's anything to him just to throw a pass downfield. It's absolutely ridiculous. But with that being said, Slay, we'll start with you. Who you picking in this game and why?
I'm going with Buffalo in a close win. I think the Dolphins are going to play them really, really tough. I think this is the first team that, gets a run for, the Bills' money or whatnot. And I think both of the games they play them really tough. I think the Dolphins beat them in one of those games, actually. But this ain't one. You're playing them at the wrong time. They're hot. They're really, really hot. And everything is clicking. Josh Allen out there balling. Like you said, he's making throws look effortless. The receiving core is playing really well. I mean, you don't want to put an undrafted rookie on a top 5 receiver and Stephon Diggs. That's just not fair. The O-line played well. The defense is playing well. This is just a complete unit. This is the most dominant team in football right now. And they're looking for one team and one team only, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. And right now, they're playing really well. So I think the moment the Dolphins are playing them is not the one that you want if you're a Dolphins fan. But have hope, because I think Tua plays a lot better than expected. I think people are going into this game looking at what he did and saying, yeah, he played really, really well. But I think people are going to get they're going to overreact over that and then think he's just going to have an amazing game, which I don't think he'll have, but he's going to have a solid game in this one. But I think the running backs will contribute a lot in this game. I think Tyreek Hill is going to have a pretty good game. You put Benford and whoever else they got in that secondary. I know they lost Dane Jackson, so he's not going to be playing out there. So yeah, I think it's gonna take with time with this Dolphins team to beat the Bills. But again, like I said, the Bills are the most dominant team in football right now. So you fought them at the wrong time. You played them at the wrong time. So I think Allen makes a lot look easy.
I struggled with this game. I really did, because I think Tua is a lot better than what people give him credit for too. I think their defense is a lot better than what people give him credit for. I just think playing Baltimore, you just don't know week to week. They're the most confusing team to play, because not only do you have to stop Lamar, but you don't know what those weapons are capable of week to week. Devin Duvernay stepped up big time. Rashad Bateman, the jury's still out on him, but we've seen him.
Had a game, man.
Yeah, and then J.K. Dobbins is yet to return, so you never know week to week who you're going to play. It's Kenyon Drake. And then their defense is no joke. And I think the Dolphins in the AFC East are that team that's just like the Ravens. You just don't know. They have 2 of the fastest wide receivers on their team. Is the Bills still without Tre'Davious White too?
Yeah, I believe he's still on IR.
So who are you going to get to cover Tyreek and
Benford,
Jalen Waddle?
probably. Benford. Elam has to step up with Dane Jackson getting hurt now.
I mean, their safeties are going to have to be a huge factor. And if we're saying, collectively, a lot of people are saying they're the best safety tandem in the league, they're really going to have to prove their prowess this weekend against these dudes. These are 2 3-0 teams going into this week, so I think there's only 4 left.
2-0.
Or 2-0 teams, yeah. So
there's 6 2-0 teams left.
There's 6 2-0 teams, so this game will, undoubtedly make it to 5 if the other 4 win. So This was the game of the week to me.
Tua 6 touchdowns. Wow, man.
6 touchdowns, over 430 passing yards as well. So all that talk about Tua can't throw downfield is absolutely not true. And let's see you try to get your timing right throwing to Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle as fast as they are going down the field. Like, that's one thing that people don't talk about. Yes, you might be able to throw an accurate pass to a guy that's not as fast as these two, but imagine trying to put the ball down the field to these guys where you absolutely just don't know how unprecedented their speed is for being, wide receivers. It's 2 track stars. So you're asking a lot out of your arm to put it in pinpoint accuracy every single time they get open. With that being said, though, I think this is the closest game of the weekend. I think the Dolphins get a lot more respect. And Mike McDaniels, man, that dude has got those guys rolling just like Dan Campbell's got. They are fighting for that dude. A ton of dynamic things that he's doing with that offense, and he's making them not predictable. But I take the Bills on this one as well. I did want to go with the Dolphins with all my might. I can't. With the neck injury that happened to the one player over this weekend, Drake, what's his name? Dane Jackson. Dane Jackson got injured on a really weird play, from his teammate, and prayers and thoughts are up with him, but things like that motivate a team on another level as well.
Yeah.
Expect a shootout. That's all I'm gonna say.
It could either be really, really bad for the Dolphins, or it could be really, really close. It just depends on how they're going to play. But don't think that injury that happened is not going to motivate them to want to come in and just, get a win for their teammate that's going to be out for a significant amount of time, I believe. And with that being said, it's the Bills this week for me. Sora, who you got?
I mean, I can agree with both you and Slay over there. I think it will be close. Even with Waddle and Hill, I do think the Bills got this. Talking about the safeties, yeah, this is definitely the time period that you've got one of, if not the best safety tandem. And this is not going to be me slandering Kyle Hamilton, not yet. But, I mean, you're looking at 2 all-pro safeties versus Kyle Hamilton on that one deep pass to Hill, the first one. Because, I mean, he just did not know where he was at. He was out of position. He was late, like some other people. But, I mean, you don't see that with Hyde and Poyer.
Mm-hmm.
People are talking about now it's time for Elam to step up. You saw Elam look good in preseason. You saw Elam in college.
Elam had a really good play yesterday. I don't know what people are talking about.
That's what I'm saying. Elam had a good play yesterday. He looked good in preseason. He kept up with, and I know it's hard to replicate the speed of Waddle and Hill, but let's not forget, John Mechie was a really fast guy in college, and Elam was able to stay hip to hip with him. We've seen him go up against the tall boys like Alec Pierce for the Colts. He locked him up. Again, Matt Ryan did not look good that game, but we're moving on. So, as much as you have injuries on the Bills side, I don't think people need to be worried about the Bills defense. And as for their offense, I don't know if the Dolphins defense is going to be able to stop Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis, because he'll probably be back week 2. You got Josh Allen, you got that running back, or not that running back, you got that running back room. So, I mean, the Bills' offense it's going to be really hard to beat the Bills for any team. I don't think they'll go undefeated. Obviously, they'll lose games, but it's going to be really hard to beat this Bills team. So, yeah, I'm going to have to go with Dolphins.
You're going to have to go with the Dolphins?
Sorry.
I was about to say, oh, man, you messing me up here.
No, I literally just looked down and I just saw Dolphins first.
All right, Lindy, go ahead and take us out of the show, man. Take us out.
Sure. It looks like we're going to have a 4-for-4 across the panel here. I got Buffalo as well. I think the early spread for this is 5.5. This could be as close as a 3-point game, and I would not be surprised. You have, I mean, across the board, you wouldn't think that defensively, the Dolphins and Bills are even because, frankly, in a lot of areas they are not. When you look at the Bills side, with with what and I just had his name on the tip of my tongue, and I just forgot it. Why did I have such a bad mental block right there?
I've never related to you so much more in my life than just right now.
I know. The pass rusher that just came over from the Rams.
Oh, Von Miller.
Yeah. So they
understandable.
They got
exactly
him.
what you're going through.
They brought him over. He's playing out of his mind. He's trying to go for a Lombardi for another team for two consecutive years now. So you got that going. You got that going for them. You got such a you got such a connection between Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs that I don't know if anyone else in the NFL has replicated to this point in the season so far. Like the two of them are on another level, and I understand that Tua has a track team and Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. I get all that, and that top five tight end and Mike Gesicki. I'm kidding. I'm kidding on that one. I thought you would get the joke there. I'm kidding, but no, that's an honest joke. But no, I mean, for what was that touchdown celebration, by the way?
That was like a 40-year-old dad trying to do the grid. I will say
he brought that up on Twitter too. I'm
bad.
like, okay.
He caught
himself on that one. He caught himself on that one. I'm like, good. I'm like, good. Just don't do that again. But
I was gonna say he had a good response. He was like, "Dang, I thought
Best tight end
in
the league, Gritty.
yeah. I thought
Well, he was like back at it at the lab.
Hilarious.
I was like, "Keep it in the lab, please."
I get the performance that Tua had. It was remarkable, and everyone's talking about that. We got to stop sleeping on the Bama quarterbacks, and of course, they're referring to Tua and when Jalen Hurts was there before he moved on to the Sooners. But when I look at what the Ravens didn't do, I think it elevated Tua's play a little more, because you can arguably say as much as it was to the fact of what Tua did, it was also to what the Ravens didn't do to try and seal this game, because I think at one point they were up by 3 or 4 touchdowns, and you allow a debacle like this in Baltimore, of all places. The historical aura that they have built there, the history they have built there, and you have to imagine that the Ed Reeds and the Ray Lewises of the world are just trying not to and I'm not going to say it, but they're holding it in their mouth. Pause. They're trying not to barf everywhere. I'll just say that. At that defensive performance, that was, to let the game get out of your grasp like that was absolutely pathetic. The Ravens were 3 of 10 on third down. That doesn't win you football games. Their fourth down efficiency wasn't very good. They didn't convert on 2 of those. And I mean, again, when we break it down to basic football, what is it? Time of possession. It's what you do when you have the football that makes a big difference. The Dolphins had the ball at least 9.5 more minutes than the Ravens did. And a lot of that came in the fourth quarter when Baltimore just, I don't know if he was even taking their foot off the gas. I mean, did they lag in the middle of a Madden game or back themselves out too soon?
They had my internet.
Seriously. So as much as people want to hype up what Tua did, I think we also need to come down to earth and say it's also what the Ravens didn't do at the same time. With that said, the Bills are better equipped to handle an offense than the Ravens are. And to the extent that I don't know if the Dolphins defensively have an answer for Josh Allen. And that's besides Stephon Diggs. When you look at the rest of the playmakers he has collectively as a unit, you can obviously say the Bills are the better team. But I do, however, don't want to create the Dolphins as a slouch, because I do feel that they're going to make it very competitive, but Buffalo's going to come out on top.
Well, there you have it. Clean sweep across the board. As I got probably cat hair in my mouth or something. But clean sweep across the board for the Bills, man. Again, I was going to be the anomaly this week like I usually am with some crazy pick, but nah, I'm going to take the safe bet and go with the Bills this week. Game of the week. Got a ton of good games to look at, and this is just one.